Welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets, Tips and Tales, powered by Property Finder, the platform that celebrates top real estate talent and helps the best get even better. We're going to be exploring exclusive tools from Property Finder that enables and empowers agents to grow, perform, and lead. Today, I am joined by Evern Van Niekerk, the Sales Director at Paragon Properties. He's going to be dropping his golden nuggets, tips and tales. Now, Evern, what is the single piece of advice that changed the way you do business?
Well, thank you for having me. I think the biggest advice I ever got was, and you will hear it from every sales director right across Dubai, no matter what real estate industry you're in, is that you're going to face rejection.
Yeah. Daily.
Lots and lots of rejection, and real estate is all about a numbers game. The best advice I got was, it's not just about the rejection, it's about learning from it. You're going to face rejection. The only difference is that you need to learn why you are getting rejected so that you can lower that rejection rate all the time. And that's the most important part.
Okay, so you kind of do a post-mortem effectively on every
As much as possible, as much as possible. Understanding why you're getting rejected is so crucial within the real estate market. Otherwise, it's that age-old analogy of you continue to do the same thing over and over and trying to get a different result.
Yeah, insanity.
It's insanity. It really is insanity. So why would you continue to do the same thing over and over? I've had agents who go, this has been my 200th call for the day that I've been rejected. And I just go, well, what have you learned from it? What are you doing wrong? What is your script? What are you saying? Where is it going wrong? Understanding where you're going wrong is going to be the key to your success in the long run.
And is there a moment in your career personally where you got rejected, it hit hard, but you learn an important, valuable lesson from it?
Listen, you get rejected every day. You really do. I mean, especially when you're going after super prime listings, you're going to get rejected. The most important understanding is trying to get through to that person and then going through again and again and again and doing that post-mortem analysis on yourself and going, I knew I said this and I shouldn't have said this. I should have maybe diverted to that or to this. I didn't ask the right questions. Asking questions all the time. That's really the key. It really is.
And it's quite easy to spiral. With rejection comes, you feel like you're lacking in confidence, and then that could have a knock-on effect on...
It feeds into absolutely everything. And most good sales agents are ADHD like me.
How does that help?
Well, it doesn't, especially when it comes to rejection. And that's why I do a postmortem and then, not just brush it off. Ultimately, in the long run, is that you've got to understand why, so that you don't spiral. You can fix those mistakes. Otherwise, you will be facing that insanity spiral the whole time. And if you get into that spiral, you end up on your phone, searching through social media, when you should be working and just doing absolutely nothing and, saying the woe is me, where
the pity game.
Yeah, that pity game can happen so quickly. And so you've got to you do have to have a thick skin, but at the same time, you've also got to be teachable. And if you can learn all the time, I remember, back in the day when I first started, I was in my CEO and my director and my manager and my colleagues. I was asking questions all the time. I did this, and I got this. Where am I going wrong? What am I doing? What am I doing? Communicate. What could I have done differently? And I was getting as many perspectives as possible so that I could formulate a solution of how I can improve, whether it was on the phone, whether it was in a meeting, whether it was on a viewing and a pitch, whatever it was, I was trying to improve and learn all the time.
But you can see how that sort of self-reflection or maybe accountability or ownership of a failing or rejection can be quite difficult for someone to approach you and say, Evern, this happened. I'm not happy about it. What do I do? What would you have done? Does that happen? Do people actually?
Well, with my staff and all the sales agents that I manage at Paragon, I constantly try and get them into meetings and going, what happened with this offer? I always tell them, listen, if the brakes are failing on the highway, that's when you call me. Don't call me when the car has crashed. At least I can try and save and help and do something.
Salvage it
before. But the whole point is about learning. I'm still even in my CEO and COO's office all the time asking when I'm doing transactions, saying, hey, what can I do? Do you think this is the right way to do it? Do you, how would you pitch it? What would you say? Why would you say that? Understanding those answers and constantly trying to learn, it's a game changer. I think the second an agent thinks that they know everything, second they face failure, they're going to struggle. They're really going to struggle because they're not teachable, they're not learning, and they're not willing to learn from their mistakes.
So rather than just keep repeating yourself, you've got to have that moment to reflect. But there are some cultures or company cultures perhaps where there may not be that open door policy. You can't just walk into your manager's office, or you might not have access to...
Well, so if you don't have access to managers in that kind of role, then number one, why are they managers? But number two, if that is unfortunately your work culture, then you've got your colleagues all around you. You've got other real estate agents that you brush shoulders with on a daily basis. The first thing that I did in the real estate game is not only build relationship with my colleagues, but I also built relationship with other real estate agents that worked with other firms.
Right.
And building those relationships and communicating and telling horror stories and finding out, what did they do? How did they overcome this? Learn. There's always people that are willing to teach you. And you've just got to try and find those people around you.
But you also have to swallow your pride a little bit.
Yeah.
And make that step to go and ask for help.
Definitely. I mean, there's nothing more humbling than going into a manager's office or a colleague or whatever and saying, listen, especially if your colleague has just put $1 million dirham on the board and you're struggling to get a 1 million dirham sale across the line that's going to put 10K in your pocket. You need to literally swallow your pride and go and say, listen, please, I need to understand and I want to learn from you.
Where else can real estate agents learn from?
Podcasts. Podcasts like this. But also the simple fact of going onto Google. Go onto Google, search, understand, look at different sales guides, read as many different sales agents' books. I mean, you've got Ryan Serhant, you've got Frederick Eklund. Frederick Eklund's book is phenomenal. I suggest it to absolutely everybody. And learn.
I'd say even watching those shows like Selling Sunset, $1 Million Listing.
Well,
you can pick up
the first couple of seasons, yes, when it was all about real estate rather than the bickering and the relationships and the background noise. But watching those real estate shows gives you a little bit of a glimpse. But I think there's a lot more honesty in their books. And by reading their books and reading their blogs and following them on social media and getting their little podcasts and understanding and watching podcasts like this is imperative. So that you can learn. You interviewing how many captains of industry in real estate?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. And you can pick up golden nuggets.
From every episode.
From everybody. You can pick and choose and say, yes, that's relevant to my personality, or no, that's not relevant to my personality, but it's about learning.
And you've also got, I'm going to just move off my lipstick, PF Academy.
Of course.
Do you guys use that?
We use it all the time. Whenever we onboard an agent, they go through a 2-week training program. It's intense. It's grueling.
Well, it should be, because let's be honest, the barrier to entry is quite low.
Yeah.
You just have to do a sit a course, the RERA course and pass the exam.
Yeah.
And if you're quite studious and you can pick up information and learn the laws very quickly,
Yeah.
you could pass your exam within a couple of weeks.
It's also one of the reasons why, like, even in our training program, we've got so many voices. Among those, there's hundreds of years worth of experience.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be on form 100%, 24/7 every day. Like it's always on top, 100%, your best face showing all the time. I still remember, I think I hold the record for quite a while at my firm when I first started, was 52 listings in the first month.
Wow.
And
how did you get those listings?
Call.
And then one thing leads to another, because the more you list, the more sellers are calling you, because you appear to be a community expert or number one. So it's that old age query of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. To be able to sell something, you need to get the listings. How do you get the listings? You need to be quite visible on Property Finder.
Yes, you've got to be visible. And I mean, in today's day and age, you won't sell a property off market anymore. This isn't a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. And, the market fluctuates and it can change within 2 to 3 months, and you'll see certain price brackets go up and down, and certain communities, go through quiet patches and then go through booming patches. So it's all about visibility. And Property Finder, once again, is the best way to advertise your property and get it seen to as many individuals across not only the city, but internationally. You've got to be visible. And you've got to be using a platform like Property Finder that is getting you quality leads every single day. As long as you obviously, what I love about Property Finder is if you actually follow the guidelines and you make sure that your quality score is right, and you put in the right descriptions and the right materials and the right information and great pictures, you guaranteed leads. You guaranteed leads and you guaranteed money at the end of the day. So when it comes to all of that, it's just about making sure that you're ticking all the right boxes.
How do you decide what listing gets a premium? Because they're always going to be asking you, I want this premium, I want this premium.
Market price. Market price. Is it going to sell? Number one, exclusivity. If you have it exclusive and it's at the right market price, 100%. No, you don't even have to ask me. It will get premium straight away. If your villa is overpriced and it's going to take 3 months to sell, rather call the seller and say, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm going to be honest with you. You are 300K, 1 million dirham or 2 million dirham. Market's not right there. What I do suggest is let me call you in 3 months' time or in 6 months' time or whenever it may be, then we will list. I think, just to have the listing up online just for the sake of it,
it's not enough.
It's just not going to do it. And I think buyers are starting to realize, wait a second, it's not that kind of market where, oh yeah, well, that one is 3.5 million, that one's 3.8, and it's in a cookie cutter community where everything's exactly the same, besides maybe a small angle or a 200 square foot change on the plot size. That doesn't justify the 300K. We would rather premium the right price versus the wrong price.
That's a little buyer hack as well. If any buyers are listening, it's likely that the premium property is well priced, because it would have had to have gone through sales director approval.
Well, you got to remember, like, every listing costs money. And we don't just throw money at advertising just for the sake of advertising. It doesn't matter if you've got one listing or 100 listings. If all 100 listings are at the right price, I'll premium every single one of them. But if you've got one listing at the wrong price, I'm not going to premium it. I'm not going to even feature it. Why? Because it actually costs me more from an advertising perspective. We only advertise what we can sell.
And there you have it, with the nice little buyer's hack towards the end. Hope you caught that one. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to catch all the rest of Evern's episodes. And while you're at it, just binge the whole season.